Evening, welcome to the Toon Review. It's the fan forum, the all-free fan forum. No Paul tonight, so I'm in charge. That's a bit like putting the rats in the cheese larder. But there you go, we're here. We've got plenty of people in the background to help us with a few questions and a few things. Nice little panel waiting. Rob's in the house. Hi, Rob. Hope you're well, buddy. Do a few comments first. Hi, Michael's in the house also. Paul's also here. Good evening all. No, won't be on today. He's a bit busy. No problem, mate. There's the link if you want to come and join us and become part of the panel. George is in the house. Hi, Georgia. Charles is also here. Hi, Charles. Majestic is also here. Hello, mate. And Brendan and Tom. And Gary, one of our mods, is here. He says, good evening, Toon Review family. Good evening, everyone in the chat. Please keep comments respectful. No all caps or duplicate posts, please. Ian's in the house also. Hi, mate. And also, Gary says, let's remember to hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Then consider subscribing. It's free, indeed. And we're on our way to 15k, so all subscriptions will be gratefully accepted. Goatfather says, hello, Paul. And Paul's not here today. Took a few days off the internet. Glad to be back. Good to see you back, Goatfather. Gary, of course, has had COVID, but he's recovering. Not fully, though, yet. He's still suffering with fatigue and foggy head, but much better than he was, which is good to hear. Carlos is here. Hi, Carlos. Mary's also here, even all the mods. There's been one of those days, got some self-care snacks in tonight. Good stuff, Mary. And Paul also. Another Gullick, the brother of Mary, is in the house. Hi, Paul, Billy, Alec. Before I start, what a nice way to see the Queen Elizabeth coming back to Buckingham Palace. It was so nice. People lining the route. It was, yeah. I haven't seen much of it today, to be honest. Carl's in the house. Hi, Carl. Mary says, hello, Mr. V. I hope you're feeling well. Seeing your comment. Look after yourself. Absolutely. Penchalad's in the house. Hello, Penchalad. Also, up the A1's here. And also, Dave's here. Hi, Toon Review family. I'll see two games have been called off this weekend in London. Chelsea versus Liverpool and Man United versus Leeds. Well, Man United isn't in London, is it? But the fans mainly are. And he follows up by saying, also Man United were a London club. Why else would they call it off? C Stock says good evening also. Tom saying they do a Champions League watch along tomorrow, possibly. Not certain yet, mate. The Cloniad's here. Clonlad, great golf my axe there. 1 each in a minute. Yeah, good game of football. Anfield. Andrew's here. Julie's here. And let's get some of the folks in, shall we? We have with us tonight, we have Chippers. We have the King of Qatar. Annie's here. Barbara's here. And Jack's here. Welcome to one and all.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, lads. Everybody.
Talk about.
Am I okay yet? Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. We can hear you loud and clear.
For a change.
No echoes, no nothing. Look fine. Everything's great.
Wow. Great.
What should we talk about first? Let's talk about the fact we've got a game this week to look forward to. Chippers, was it the right decision to cancel last week's games, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's no choice in the matter really is there. I mean, we're living in last week was an unprecedented week where it's I mean, within 48 hours you lose you call government changes and then, you've got a king instead of a queen. It's quite I don't think that's ever happened in any other part of the world. I mean, some of my correctors. I'm not a politician or now, but it's just I think it was the right thing. And I saw idiots moaning on saying, "Oh, I'm not bored without football." I'm sorry, but somewhat like the Queen who's ruled this country for 70 years has just died. I mean, what do people expect? It's like, I mean, obviously I had a family passing earlier in the year and I wasn't even bothered with football or nothing. So, and that's because obviously William's president of the FA, isn't he? So, of course, he isn't going to be bothered about it. So, I just think it was the right thing. And I think people need to moan on, stop moaning and just, put themselves in their shoes for one day and realise that, football is the least, there's more important things than football. So, But we've got a game this weekend, so touch wood if we go out and spank these lot, then people will not be asked what happened last weekend.
Happy days. And do you think it's the right decision, Roy, to bring the games back this weekend then?
Yeah, of course. It's a sign of respect as well. I mean, 70 years we've known no one else. The Queen, we've not had anybody else. So it's the least you can do, really. It happens all over the world as well. We even had 3 days here in Qatar as well before the flag was down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's respect. It's the least we can do anyway. You can't just go and have fun and celebrate winning a game as well while Queen's gone. So usually
Jack, what did you do with the weekend
well,
with no games? Was it a weird weekend in the middle of this football season? No games to look forward to. It was strange, wasn't it?
It was strange, but I did make a video on how I disagree with the cancelling of the matches. But now I've had time to think about it. I actually agree with it because of obviously it's a London-based match. Obviously, it was never going to happen. Like we've seen this weekend. Obviously, the Chelsea match being postponed again, based in London. But yeah, you got to show signs of respect. I mean, at the end of the day, a monarch who's reigned for 70 years in the UK has just died, and it's so tragic. Everyone across the country, not even just the UK, everyone's tragic and everyone's upset. So you can see two sides of the story, but I think the main story is you can agree with why they've cancelled the games. But I'm glad that they're back on this weekend, and we can pick up some more points for the table. But yeah, I totally agree with it.
And Barbara, because we've got games this weekend coming up, are you looking forward to it? Obviously, you're going to be looking forward to it more than usual.
Yeah, it was a big miss for the past week. Nothing to do. Of course, the Toon review was here to look at, which is great. But it's an advantage to us too. Like, we had players that were injured who have recovered now, so it'll be helping us. So I'm all for it. So
Excellent. You know what? I've got a nice surprise. I've got a nice surprise for our viewers, especially the female ones.
Yeah.
Waiting in our green room, we have the voice, Francisco. Hi, Francisco. How you doing, buddy?
Cheers, everybody. How you all doing tonight?
Wow. You've even got me fluttering, mate. You've even got me fluttering.
Billy Bub, my boy. Like that one?
I love that.
How you all doing tonight?
We're all great, mate. We're all great, I think we're all good. Annie, you've got a game tomorrow night, haven't you? Championship game. You look forward to that, obviously, missing the weekend.
Yeah, was meant to go to the game for the first time in a while. Obviously disappointed I couldn't get to that, but obviously, I completely agree with the decision, and it's totally understandable why they have taken the decision to postpone all the games. Tomorrow away to Norwich, going to be a nice easy game. They've got one of the best squads in the Championship, but Bristol City fourth at the moment. Very, very, very confident. But I think we'll get taught a lesson at Norwich.
You never know. You say, you're in fourth place. You're kind of looking at the table at the minute. You could go there and get something. I think no doubt about it.
We've had a lot of luck going our way, but lots signs of progression, and hopefully at the end of the season it's a positive outcome.
Excellent. Good to see your team doing well, mate. Francisco, are you looking forward to the weekend? Obviously, a weekend off, no games. Got our games on Saturday. You must be looking forward to that.
Oh, definitely so. I watch, like some of you, some La Liga matches, but it's nowhere near. Once you get invested in your team, once you have the feeling of what we're having with our team right now, and looking forward to seeing new results, seeing all the players gel together and everything, nothing else compares. And even if you try to substitute it with something, it doesn't work.
Absolutely not. But we have managed to add to our squad, haven't we? A new reserve goalkeeper, Chippers, Loris Karius. What do you think, bud?
He looks like a worldie, doesn't he? I mean, I think a lot of women will be falling weak at the knees when they see him.
Exactly.
Look, hopefully it won't be between the sticks, but might sound wrong, but I think I just think we did the right thing. We reacted quickly with a window shut, and it seemed that he was a free transfer, so it doesn't affect anything to do with FFP or any shit like that, doesn't it? So you can just, and the fact we're going to extend his contract possibly from January to the end of the season could mean a case of, well, we don't need to look for a keeper till possibly next summer now. So, or he could end up staying. We don't know. It depends how well he is. But hey ho, we've done the right thing. I mean, people complain that, we'll let Dubravka go and all that, but that bit wasn't again anyway. So you kind of keep unhappy players at a club. So that's what you're supposed to do.
Were you confident having Karius as our reserve goalkeeper, given his last kind of game on the big stage?
Yeah, I mean, he's actually a good goalkeeper. He just had that Champions League final, and it just went downhill from there. It was a disaster. I don't think any other keeper would have had a worse game in his life. And I think he lost his confidence, and it's just gone. It's just gone after that. But if Eddie Howe can change some of the other players we've got, like Joe Linton and Almiron's changed, and so we've got a few players that improved a lot. So you never know. We'll see. I think it's still better than Darlows now.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Tom says, in fairness, there was no precedent for matches not to have been played. When previous monarchs died, fixtures were still played. It's done now, though. Yeah, but it was a different game in them days, Tom, wasn't it? The technology, TV cameras needed to be in certain places. Yeah, it's a completely different game these days. But you're right. I mean, when King George died, the game carried on. And Strafford says, have to say, Scotland did the Queen proud. Absolutely amazing. They did great. Brad he says in the house. Also, Matt's here. Hi, Matt, down in Australia. Habs is also here. I have no problems with the game being off. I just don't know wherever the sport went ahead. Yeah, I think it's the television side. If I'm perfectly honest. And Stu with his normal comment. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Karius, Jack. Karius, what do you think?
I feel bad for the guy, if I'm being honest, but because whenever someone mentions Karius, the instant thing that pops up into their head is Champions League final, which is a shame. And yeah, he had a dreadful match. But we don't look at the past, we look at the future. And if we've seen what Eddie Howe's done with these sort of players, I know Karius is a brilliant quality goalkeeper, but if you see the likes of what he's done to the likes of Kraft and Shaw and all these players, think of what he can do with Karius. I mean, he can potentially restart his career here like we've done with Trippier. No one really heard of Trippier again when he went to La Liga. He came back and he's one of the, in my opinion, the top right backs in the Premier League. So maybe Eddie Howe can transform his confidence again, transforming into a better goalkeeper than what he was, and restart his career for good and start again in the Premier League and get a fresh start.
I think as well, what you need to remember about Karius is I think he was concussed in that game when he had a nightmare. He took an absolute battering in the game, and
I mean, when you're playing Bale like that shot by Bale was unbelievable. Although Karius made a meal of it, but yeah, Bale in them sort of days, Bale in his prime, I don't think he's saving any of his shots, especially that bicycle kick. I don't think he's getting close to that. So you can't blame him for having not saving shots against the likes of Bale or stuff like that. I mean, the Benzema goal was a bit cheap, but you can't blame him. Really.
And whatever happened in that game, how many goalkeepers have played in the Champions League final?
But Ian, you're right. I mean, Real Madrid's kind of approach that night. They managed to break Salazar, didn't they, Ramos?
Yeah,
they knackered Karius, so they were very aggressive, weren't they? And whether Karius was concussed or not, if he was concussed, it gives him a reason why he was so bad, I guess. Barbara, are you happy with the signing of Karius? He'll be playing in cup games, I imagine.
For obvious reasons.
What would they be then?
Well, if Liverpool bought him, he must be good. No. That's right. But no, I think it'd be grand for a stand-in for Pope. If Pope gets injured, he'd be the right man to stand in.
Good stuff.
I think it's a step up on Darlows.
It certainly is at the minute. I mean, he's kind of 1 foot, isn't he? So he's well out for a few weeks here. So we've got a couple games to play.
Injured at the moment,
yeah.
Literally.
I don't think we've looked at it enough. I don't think we've looked at the goalkeeper situation enough, because really before Karius we had Pope and Gillespie So really, we were in some deep bother, and I don't think we looked at it that much. But I think luckily Karius isn't a free agent, so yeah, smart moves again by Newcastle.
He could end up being our second choice goalkeeper, and he's happy being a second choice goalkeeper, which is massive. You know, he's how old is he, Billy? 29 or something? He's not old, is he?
Yeah, he's not old, no.
29. Another thing to remember about Karius, guys, is that when he was brought in by Club, you know, he had a choice. It was at a time where Club had a choice of keepers that he could choose. He had the backing of the team to go and fetch anybody he wanted. And he selected him. He knew him. And he did play well for them. So, yes, he had a very horrendous experience, a very horrendous game. But all it takes is the nudging of a good manager, the support of your teammates, and one chance, and it could turn around. And just like you said, hey, who knows if a simple signing, an emergency signing like this one, could turn out being a very, very good second keeper for our team.
He could be our new Stevie Harper.
Yeah, good.
And especially to go to a Champions League final against the likes of Real Madrid, be the number one goalkeeper and the player to keep the shots out and potentially win the game for his team. That's a lot of pressure right there. And you got to have some real balls and stuff to really cope with the pressure and stuff.
Could you guys imagine a scenario in which with what happened in the Liverpool game this year, we go up and it's Karius that we need to rely on, and he gets his revenge on that? Could you guys imagine a scenario like that? How wonderful that would be!
I would love it if that happens.
If he had an absolute storm of a game, made about 20 brilliant saves, and was
exactly.
with that, and we scored the last minute
sideline with that stupid face of his.
Oh, I think you'd have
at the end of the match and scored. At the end of the match, he come up from his box and scored. It'd be even better.
And it would be at our place, which is even better.
Yeah.
I honestly think Klopp would have a cardiac arrest if that happened. I mean,
he wouldn't last.
It was close last week, weren't it? Let's be honest.
He wouldn't last the first half.
He won't be chest bumping at Allison anymore. I'll tell you
that. Jim's got a comment here about the Fantasy League, which I don't really want to talk about. But Billy found out why I dropped points in the Fantasy Premier League. My 24-point player swap wildcard. Well, wildcard didn't work, so I just took my points 374 to 517. Wow. That's interesting. I don't think I'll be judging that then.
As well.
I've had
crap
to
as
take
it is
my
without
Man
doing
United
that.
Chelsea players out.
Oh, of course, they're not playing, are they? Yeah.
No, I've had to take them out because
I had to do 2 subs yesterday.
Oh, crikey. No, what doesn't matter for me, is it? Because I'm like 500 millionth or whatever it is in the table. It's just below Steve Bruce and Scott Parker, so it's not going to matter to me anyway what I do. So I'll keep the salary and stop them scoring. Well, you know.
I'm not joking. I've just checked my FPL and none of my players are playing.
Oh,
none of them.
Like I've made all my transfers and none of them are playing.
Annie, show your team up, mate, please.
That's bad luck, Annie.
Come on, Annie, let's see your team. Let's see your team. Come on, let's see.
Time for a wild card.
That I'll just say it out.
Just read it, yeah.
So I've got Alisson in goal, Van Dijk, Walker, Cancelo, White as a back four, Aronson, Kulusevski, De Bruyne captain, Son, Jesus and Mitrovic on the bench, Gazzaniga, Perisic, Archer and Aribo.
Annie, is that Crystal Palace stuff behind you, by the way?
What? Where?
That Crystal Palace top, the white one? It looks like it.
This one? Well, no, this one.
The white one.
The middle one, the white one with the red and blue stripe down that looks like
the middle one. No,
it's
the this season's away shirt.
Turn around, I bet it's got Benteke on the back.
It has actually got someone on the back. It's not Benteke though. It's a City player, Cal Naismith. He's actually factually better than Dan Burn, so that's a win.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Burn, no pun intended.
We'll see how good he is tomorrow night.
Well, there you go. And he's always one for the comments. Anyway, I've got another guest. He's not a guest. Not a guest. He's my co-host tonight. It's Alex. I'm going to move him.
Stato.
Young man. Yeah, you're making me
Oh,
point in the wrong way.
I want to hear this, dude.
Oh my dear.
Alex, what do
My
you think about
days.
Dan Burn against Cal Naismith? Give us a bit of a...
It was a joke. It was a
I
joke.
don't think words are necessary.
It's a Mercedes versus a Hyundai.
Don't even need to look at stats for that one.
I'll never forget when
Well.
Annie bigged up Thomas Callas because he was a fantastic player. And after 6 months, he's rough. He's rubbish. He's rubbish.
He never plays now. He's awful.
They don't do the data on Naismith. They do with the websites that I use. I can't find the data.
Try www.thebino.com. You might find it on there.
Mhm.
They use Nokia 3210s, I think, as well for text messages and that as well.
Anyhow, Annie's team's going 1 in 4th place, so we can hardly criticise really. What we can.
No. Still well, though. Still well.
Alex,
You
Karius,
look at-
what do you think, buddy?
Of what? Sorry.
Loris Karius. Give us your impressions. I don't
Yeah,
think
I spoke about him last night on the international show. I think he's better than people give him credit for. There were a couple of people in the comments having a go at me, saying he's not played a game since the Champions League final, which is obviously nonsense because he played 25 times for Besiktas in Turkey, played for Union Berlin in Germany. He's played a lot of minutes. He's not that bad. People seem to. It's a really strange, rather specific scenario where he got concussed, conceded 2 goals, and now everybody thinks he can't play football anymore. It's bizarre. It's very odd. I don't quite get it personally.
Has somebody got a hamster running in a wheel? I don't think so. I can't hear anything. Very strange. Dubravka swapping one bench for another. It's very odd, isn't it, Chippers? Him going from the Newcastle United bench to the Man United bench. Does it make any sense to you?
I'm so annoyed with idiots on social media saying, why did we get rid of him all? Do people not realise he didn't want to be here? He wanted to go and sit on the steward bench and he had no fight or desire to stay here, which annoys me completely. You know, and people don't realise that if you don't want to be here, get out the door. I don't want players sitting on a bench earning the wage who don't want to be here. We've had that mentality under previous regimes, but don't want it now. I want to see players on that pitch who want to be on that pitch, even if they're on the bench, coming on and having an impact. I'm sorry, but and then he goes on social media as if he's played for Man United all his career the way he's gone on. And I just think, you know what, day one.
I have got a point about keepers. You say people who want to be on the pitch. Does Gillespie want to be on the pitch?
Well, you know, he seems just happy for to take a wage, which is wrong as well.
Yeah, that bothers me. I don't know what his intentions are, and it bothers me.
It's not right. Like, I don't like people who want to steal a living, like, but it's, you know, it's. I didn't want to be here, and I just think, you know what, he's obviously been fed a load of shite to go to Man U because he was promised Europa League and all that. He's still sitting on the bench for the Europa League games. So
yeah, but I have more bother with Gillespie the fact that he was okay with being 4th choice keeper and taking a wage. That bothers me more personally. But
I think it's one area we need to look at. I think it's an area we need to look at in the next summer, and we need to see a Gillespie go, and then we just need 2 real first choice keepers and probably a 3rd that's not happy to just sit there, but will be doing
2 first choice and youth keepers. We need 2 competent and youth keepers, not 30-year-old backups.
But didn't we sign a youth keeper during the summer? Wasn't one of the signings that we
got
made?
rid of one, didn't we?
We did indeed. We signed I can't remember where he was from, but yeah, we signed a goalkeeper, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was part of our
2 or 3
signings,
weeks ago. We signed a youth keeper.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well,
I'll have to go back and have a look who it was.
From Scotland,
I think he was from Scotland. Yeah.
Didn't we get rid of Didn't we get rid of Woodman and another keeper though as well? Didn't we get rid of a youth keeper as well, or did he go on loan or something?
Woodman went to Preston.
Yeah.
I think we might have got our new Stevie Harper here. Honestly, I don't know whether I'm being deluded. Me and Alex just agreed on something which made me smile. That
What's that?
All right, then. No, we agreed that like he's a decent goalkeeper that's coming on a free, and he had one bad game. As far as I can remember, I don't remember him having many other bad games. I don't know whether anyone else can enlighten me to that.
I think he had a couple of games after that where he was not confident. That what he took was a shot of confidence, and I think that one of the things we have to look at here with his signing, we know the talent is there. Mm-hmm. Before that game on the Champions League, he was good. He was the number one keeper for Liverpool. So with the culture that is being built on our team right now, the support system, how players are turning around their performances, what we expected of them. You were talking yesterday, Stato, about Joe Linton, how we used to trash him before the change was made. Miggy, how we still refer to him as a headless chicken, but I love him. He does a job, like you said, that nobody else does. So how are we not to know that maybe this is the proper place for Karius to come, regain his confidence, and be something special for us? I certainly believe in that. I don't believe in circumstances like that things happen for a reason. I don't believe that they just happen because they happen. They happen for a reason. He was there. Hey, we grabbed him. Let's see what we can get. He was a number one goalkeeper for the so-called Big Six. So,
I mean, we don't need him to be special. We just need him to be a competent backup, in theory.
Alex, is he better than Darlows?
I think yes. I think comfortably.
I do. And is he better?
I mean, he's never going to displace Nick Pope, is he? But cup games and things, he'll be playing.
But the good thing about him is he knows that. He's not. Yeah. He's happy to come in and do a job for the squad and be there. And if we need him, he'll come on. And I say like I think like a really good point you just made then. What beautiful voice, man. What you call
Francisco?
Beautiful voice, man. That is your name.
Just call me Frank. It's easier.
Frank, I knew you as beautiful voice, man. Because the problem is every time you speak, I melt. So he's a confidence player, and it's like a Joe Linton. It's it's like a Miggy. He'll get arms put around him now with coaches that actually give a shit about him, and
I mean, for clarity, by the way, about Karius. So, that season was the 2017-2018 season. He made 19 appearances, 10 clean sheets for Liverpool, and that was the season that him and Simon Mignolet were battling it out for the number one jersey. They were both given a lot of minutes, and Mignolet at the time was battling out with Thibaut Courtois for the Belgium number one jersey. Mignolet was getting a lot of minutes there as well, so he was very competent in that season.
Have you looked at his stats on distribution as well? Because to be honest,
that's tricky. It's some games it's rather good, some games it's rather bad. It's a bit mixed, and we've not got great data on it. You just have to look at it on a match by match basis and have a look at long balls, and it's a bit all over the place. But
that seems to be Karius all over, isn't it? I mean, he's either fantastic or he's the other end of the spectrum, isn't he?
Yeah. Wasn't he also a number 3 keeper for Germany during that year, Stato?
That is a great question. I mean,
there's
no point. I don't see the point in looking beyond
those
two keepers, because then nobody else is ever going to get a look in with them, is it? So,
Neuer and ter Stegen obviously going to be the
I
top
can't remember during that year.
Possible.
I think you have to admire him for coming in like as a temporary goalkeeper, because he's a good goalkeeper. He could get a part in any team in the Premier League, really, and he fair play to him for coming in and giving us a dig out.
I can't see him on the bench for Germany sort of 15, 16, 17.
Okay.
I can't really see him there. He might have
another thing we have to take into account, guys, is that, and I think you mentioned this yesterday, Billy, is that we were talking about some of our players and their probability of being called up for their countries for the World Cup. Now, World Cup presents in itself a very big risk for every club in terms of injuries. God forbid, we're all hoping that Pope gets called up and represents England as it should. But hey, if he actually is, barring any injury, but he comes in very tired,
On the website,
the reason to have the fact that we could have a solid number 2. What was that?
Has somebody got a sat nav on?
Yeah, it sounds so squeaky coming from somewhere, and I know it isn't.
Yeah,
it's not Barbara. It's not Tato.
Anyway, for after the World Cup, I think he could be something very important for us if he works out, just as an insurance.
It's not me. Hang on, I'm trying to find out where this squeaking's coming from.
Can't be me. I've got no one. No, like
Can we tell people to mute their mic as we go, and then we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
No. So can I just?
Sorry, Annie. It's you.
Is it me?
It's Annie.
Guilty.
Can't be me.
Right.
Right. Anyways,
Hold on.
yeah, I don't see. I just think there's a bit of an obvious selection, really. Needed a goalkeeper, Karius available on a free transfer outside the transfer window. You get him in. It's one of those where you need somewhere you're desperate in, and I don't see that much thought into it. It's just one of those obvious transfers, which is just
He's only going to play cup games, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's only going to play unless
even that. Even that, if Darlow is available, perhaps he goes with Darlow instead of Karius. Not sure whether this is a very short-term thing until January, and then whatever happens, or next season.
How long is it signed on for, Alex? I can't remember.
It says short-term contracts is all we've been privy to so far. So
until January.
I think it's January then with an option of extending
until January.
Yeah, January with option of extending to the end of the season.
Anyway, David says
basically until Darlow gets back.
David says, "Hi Billy, can see another movie, Pretty Woman 2, Francisco, the new Richard Gere." Oh, that's interesting. I think that works.
Well, if I can get a Julia Roberts, I wouldn't object.
No, I bet you wouldn't.
Coming on now is Julia Roberts.
Yeah. Barbara, you look a bit like Julia Roberts from a distance. There you go.
We wish.
Spurs got beat 2-0, they did. Liverpool are currently 1 each with Ajax. Any bad game of football, to be fair.
Their minute silence was a disgrace, by the way, or their lack of it. 30 seconds, if that, Liverpool's minute silence in the game about lasted all of 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was with some friends in the pub, and I had to race home. But there was like 6 or 7 Liverpool fans in the pub, despite the fact we're in the Midlands. Don't know where they've come from. So I was greatly cheering Ajax's goal. That was lovely.
I've not seen it. What's the score in that game?
It's 1 apiece.
No, 1-1. They're just coming out for second half now.
Stiff Gator says Simeone with his back 5 featuring Axel Witz at centre back to keep out Chicken Diaby. I don't know what our game's going like, but there you go.
Yeah, that's by Leverkusen and Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, what's the score? Roy, any idea?
0-0.
Sounds a great game. With his back 5. Karius is a sensible signing, says Daniel. A good backup indeed. George asks Francisco, are you from Vegas? Answering Francisco. Tell him where you're from.
No, I'm not. I'm from the tropics, Puerto Rico in the Caribbean.
Oh, boy, he said Puerto Rico again.
Puerto Rico.
Judy says, are the mice running all over the channel? No, there aren't. It's gone now, by the sound of it. Someone's got a kid playing on a xylophone in the background. People are moaning about the squeaking, but it's gone now. Foxy, not really sure how Karius' situation just got compared to Trippier. Trippier's in team of the year in La Liga. Karius, obvious Champions League soccer. But it's poor loans at Besiktas and Union that's more worrying. And Mark says, hi, Billy in the panel. Hope you're well. 3-0 to Toon on Saturday. Yes, we'll look forward to that. And we'll all get the opinions of our panelists later. What else can we talk about? Did anyone see Todd Boehly's comments today?
Yes. What a whopper. Yes. Unbelievable.
Explain.
Well, he wants a North v South match, like involving North divide. He wants honestly, I just my head was spinning, thinking, is this an other football club? He just wants the way he's going. He wants to Americanize this league, and like, he doesn't want relegations and things like that. And I don't know what planet he's on. I think he's had an awful lot of Smarties or something, or he had an awful lot of pop when he was getting interviewed. Because my idea is, I don't know what you like. You know, I mean, coming out with stuff like, I want a North face South match, and I'm thinking, so does that mean Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Leeds will take on Brentford, Arsenal, Man? Like, I was going to say Man United, but they obviously Chelsea. You know, are they going to take on each other in like a match where the best players take each other? What does that achieve?
What he wants is an all-star match, basically.
I thought we were past this point from the Super League nonsense. I thought we were past.
He wants the Super League, doesn't he?
Clearly not.
They want it, yeah.
Clearly not. It is disgusting. I don't know. It's honestly.
Do you know what?
The fact that he's come out in the fact that he's come out in the press and said this is ludicrous. He doesn't care.
And do you know what
he doesn't care about the EFL. He doesn't care about the lower leagues. He just goes, "Oh yeah, no relegation, no promotion. Who cares?" It's
you
like,
know what? That's sports washing.
What is the point of football if you're not going to have competition? Like, if it's just going to be a group of teams every year, week in, week out, then it's just going to be so boring.
The problem is, Annie, is that as long as there's American owners and more American owners in the game, especially the Premier League, that the competition is not what they want. They want a guarantee. Obviously, we spoke about it a lot before, and it's going to keep coming around and coming around and coming around. The European Super League will keep coming around, but American owners are, people are kicking off about our owners, but American owners are the ones that are going to actually kill the competition in football, for me.
And these people talk about owners and stuff, like people like moan about Saudi Arabian owners because it's a pay-to-win club. Like, for example, say we win a game 2-0, you could see on the comments like, oil club.
I don't think it's
necessarily about all the
I don't agree necessarily. I do agree that the American mentality.
We need a talking stick.
Francisco,
no, don't worry. Yeah, no, I agree in the fact that the American mentality of not being used to relegation, it's a problem for some of the American owners. But I would say the ones that treat the game and their teams like a business before anything else, those are the ones that we have to be careful about. We are seeing a shift in some owners, thankfully, no matter the country they're coming from, that they're putting the team, the fans, the whole environment ahead of the business. They still treat it as a business. They want to make money, but they understand the culture. Now, the ones that are coming in, this is just another business for me. Those are the ones that we have to worry about.
I agree, but I've got to be honest. I don't mind the idea of a yearly All-Star game. If I'm honest, I don't see what the problem is with that. Anybody agree?
I think the American system. I think the American system would work in this country. I just don't want it.
No, because the relegation thing.
I like the way the culture, the tradition, the way it works. We like it.
Yeah, but to the point that Billy's saying, an all-star game, I don't think it would impact the system, the culture, or anything. It would be something fun. You can even make it a fundraiser or something special like that. And I think people would be involved, because in what other way are you going to see some of these players play together ever?
I mean, we do have a variation of that we do in the UK for foreign viewers, where we do what's it called again?
Sport Aid.
That's the one. Sport Aid, where we do celebrities. will be like a rest of the world team
Soccer Aid, yeah.
versus Soccer Aid versus an
I
England
think-
team, and it'll be legends and celebrities mixed together. So we do a variation of that. There's no reason we couldn't do a professional variant without it hurting the
We
game.
used to have a variation of that, which was called international football.
Wow.
Where
Well, it wasn't celebrities mixed in, but yeah.
a lot of celebrities used to come.
I don't think I've seen Robbie Williams lining up for England. But...
together for the.
Oh no, you've seen Harry Maguire though.
Yeah.
The thing is, we'll start off with an all-star game a year, and then these owners will go, yeah, we want more. Then it keeps
Yeah, it's
growing.
like a drug, isn't it? It's like starting an
Keeps
entry-level
growing.
drug and then getting into the hard stuff. It's
Yeah.
Then it keeps growing, and at some point, exactly, Alex. At some point, you get so hooked on it, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't realise the consequences. And that's
but-
Yeah, it's great. This might be a fun thing, charity event. So it could be something like that, a fundraiser. But at what point do you draw the line and go, yeah, we're not pushing that much. We do want to preserve the heritage of England.
I'll give you an example of it right now. The Mexican League, it's very similar in terms of how it works with relegation and everything to European football. And every year for the past, I think it's 5 years now or a little bit more, they've been holding on the All-Star game against the MLS. And it's a different event. It doesn't interfere with any of the two leagues' schedule or anything like that. It's a special event. Each league runs their own thing. So I can see your concern, and I do acknowledge it, that it could become a drug. It could become something that, we want more, we want to keep changing it. But I think there are things and people in place that would keep it from something like that happening or expanding.
Oh, you don't know how corrupt our officials are. I would be careful with that. The people at the top.
Okay.
You've got to remember that people who were behind the Russia World Cup bid, a lot of them are in prison or no longer with FIFA as a corporation. Like, we've had some very distasteful characters at the top of the pyramid when it comes to UEFA, FIFA.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the FA because I don't want to drop myself in it, but you can't always trust the people at the top to make the right decisions for clubs and the health of the game. They might make it commercial and revenue reasons potentially. Okay. I could be wrong, but that's just the general feel of it for me.
No, I'll concede the point. You're right.
I think as well.
Anybody?
All right.
Anyway, mate, we were talking about Loris Karius earlier. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good signing for us?
I mean, I can understand why they've brought him in. I mean, because obviously Dubravka has gone out on loan, and of course Darlows is facing some spell on the sidelines. And by the looks of it, I don't think Eddie out trusts Mark Gillespie as well. So you can understand why they've made this move. I don't see him playing in the Premier League games, I've got to admit, unless Pope picks up an injury. Cup games, you most likely to see him play then.
Yeah, and we've moved on now to Todd Boehly and his ludicrous suggestions for what we should be doing with our no promotion, no relegation. Todd Boehly, have you read his comments today? The new Chelsea owner.
All right.
He's Francisco. It sounds like he's in a hurricane. No, he's all right. He's kind of said no promotion, no relegation. He wants an all-star game every year. He's trying to Americanise the game. Have you seen that at all, Pete? Have you got any opinion on it?
I've not seen it at all. I've not seen it, actually, I've got to admit.
Well, Tom Lynch says, what a nutter. Tell you what, we'll have a North v South game when American sports adopt promotion and relegation. Their shite teams give up and coast to get the pick of university players. That's true to a certain extent, because they have drafts, don't they? And the worst team gets the first pick, don't they? That's how it works over there.
I mean,
right? These
universities. That's a good point. I would like universities to be more included in sport in this country. Because football-wise, like Olympics, it's not a thing really. Apart from the 2012, we entered the Team GB in the 2012 Olympics, and at university level as well. It doesn't impact the professional game. I think that's something we could look to improve on without Americanizing it too much.
Yeah, that's very much like the draft system of the American League, of the different American leagues, in which their teams are filled up with university graduates like the NFL, the MLS, the NBA, and all that. That would be very much what it would be like.
I think they've got to kind of respect what they've bought into, haven't they? That's the big point of it all. Like you said, Francisco, about the business part of it. They're in for profit. They're not in for the game, aren't they? Are they?
No.
Virtually all of them. Virtually all of them.
That's the sad part of it, and but we have to also be truthful in signaling out that there are those that have come in recently that don't have that mentality, or at least keep a balance of it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we have to understand that as an owner, it is a business. We can't lie to ourselves about that, but you can strike a balance, and that's as fans, that's what we want. We want you to have our desires, our needs as a fan, as part of what you want to make. And the team itself is not just for the money. And we had that 14 years running. So
there you go.
They're all shit scared of relegation.
Yes, they are. They are indeed.
Yeah.
Because the drop off
they are shit scared. That one day that their club goes down and they're in charge of it, that they're shit scared of it. That's why they don't want relegations, or they just want it to be a boring sort of league where, one team wins something, there's only 4 teams qualify for a Champions League or whatever, and no one gets relegated. It's boring. It makes no competition. It doesn't make it fun. It makes it unwatchable. It's a bit like with a VAR debate at the minute. It kills the game of football completely. It kills the enjoyment of the sport.
Well, we're talking about Chelsea. Is anybody else? I mean, I'm quite vociferous about this. Is anyone else uncomfortable about the Potter move to Chelsea? I'm quite uncomfortable about it. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
For both sides.
I found it strange.
Oh wait, we started next job after Brighton would be England.
I think it could be a really good move for us, though, selfishly, because I think he's left a team that he's left possibly in the lurch a little bit. And if you look at who's just got sacked from Chelsea, he won 3 trophies, including the Champions League, in 2 years?
1 year.
Well, yeah, but now we've got to play a Potter team away twice because we've already done Brighton away and they were a really tough fixture. And now we've got to do Chelsea away with Potter as their boss again. And it's very frustrating because Potter's a great manager. There's probably a lot of teams now that are going to play against a demoralised Brighton. It might not work out like that. Brighton might still be very good, possibly. But it's possible that they might struggle and other teams benefit from that. Whereas we didn't. We had to play a really good version of Brighton. Yeah, that's a bit frustrating.
I get you, but we've also had to play against VAR.
What was that?
All the way from Canada.
Was that you again, Billy?
No.
Your mic was on.
I think that was Ryan then.
Ryan.
I think he was finishing himself off by the sounds of it.
Another tab.
The Phantom Farce.
I bet you were not.
Forgot to turn his mic off.
It was probably Alex disagreeing with what I was saying.
Ian, you just said a scenario about where it benefits us. Here's one that might not. England do awful in the World Cup. Southgate gets the sack. The job that was probably earmarked for Potter might now be looking for someone else to step in.
Yeah, but I don't think I might be deluded, but I don't think Eddie would leave this job. He's not even done 10% what he can do with us, and he's proved so much. With the short amount of time he's with us, there's more. I don't think he's about the glory. I don't think he's not a Billy Big Balls. Well, he's proved he's not. People are complaining about the fact that he doesn't kick off and complain and do a Klopp and kick off when decisions are wrong. I think he's got probably the most morals of any manager and integrity in this league, and I don't think he'd want to leave to take the job of England, which is basically a part-time role, to leave Newcastle United at the moment. Personally, might be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Shoot me down, but Like, I just can't see it. I would rather, like, obviously as a Newcastle fan, I'd rather be
the coaching thing makes sense. How loves his coaching, day-to-day coaching videos. They are very, very hands-on, and I think Howe and his coaching staff would be frustrated with an international role in the way they perform currently. I don't think it suits them, international management. I think they would prefer to be at a club, but that's
what I meant to say, Alex.
Is a scenario a part-time job? Doing both roles.
Can I just add on Potter quickly? I understand where Alex is coming from in terms of having to play the Potter's team twice, but you have to remember Potter took quite a long time transitioning from quite pragmatic approach in Chris Hughton into a Graham Potter team. Obviously, Chelsea's managers has been Sarri, short Lampard stint, and now Thomas Tuchel, who obviously quite pragmatic as well. And there's 19 months of Thomas Tuchel in there. So I'm not sure Potter will make that transition like he did like he's done this season that quick, even though he's got much better players.
I think the player quality makes a difference there. The fact that Chelsea
it does,
used
but
to
it's
playing
also
with
got
the
to
back
be how much they used to it, how much they used to playing in a certain way, how much they used to being in position.
Yeah, but there are elements of that already exist in the Chelsea side. With they're comfortable playing as a back five with wing backs. Cucurella has gone there, who is very obviously very, very, he was at Brighton. They've got Welbeck and Malpay up front, whereas it's been swapped for players like Kai Havertz and stuff. It already works. They've got Kovacic, Kante. They've got ball winners. They've got ball progressors. They've got talented strikers. They've got wing backs. They've got the system. It was already not a million miles away from how Brighton played. It wasn't the same, but I don't think the transitional period would be that difficult. It's fair enough. There might be one, but it's not going to be as long as it was for Brighton.
But Alex, there is one thing.
Especially as Potter's been down the road before, hasn't he? So, I mean, he's experienced in doing it. He's done it once. He probably does it quicker this time, surely.
Yeah, Billy, the thing is, by the time we play Chelsea, he might be sacked, so we don't know.
Well, I don't know about that.
But in terms of the team, could it be a case, Alex, of great players, not great team, which is something that many managers face? You can have many great players, but they don't gel with the team, and that could be something.
Yeah, I'm not having Abs's comment. Sorry, I like Abs. She comments a lot, but I'm not having the Russia. Putin did a good job of hosting the World Cup. It was an illegal bid host. It was all mafia driven. I'm not having that. They shouldn't have even had it. Any signs of racism, disruption, the police were all over it straight away to make it look good in the public eye. I do not support the Russia World Cup for 2018. It was appalling. And no, sorry.
There's a definite echo on it. I'm trying to find out who it is. Keep talking, people.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just going to say, is it not a case with Potter that he walks into a team? He's a good manager, don't get me wrong, but he sort of walked into a team that was, I don't know whether I'm wrong yet. I don't know that much about it, so maybe you shoot it down, but that was sort of ready-made.
No. Absolutely not. You got the wrong end of this. You got the wrong stick.
Yeah, you're shot down, Ian.
Yeah. No, Chris Hughton was really struggling with Brighton. Really struggling. Like they were like relegation fodder at that point. They weren't great. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, Annie will know about this, but I remember them being quite poor.
Hughton was really lucky. Fulham and Huddersfield were utterly horrendous. He was really lucky that was the case, because otherwise, any other season really, on an average points for a relegated team, Brighton are only 1 or 2 off that, and that.
Yeah, they played some poor football under Hughton. In the later stages, it was quite bad.
Back end of his reign, they lost 5-0 at home to Bournemouth. They were abysmal away at Fulham. It was really dire. It's continued at Forest, obviously for Hughton, but it was definitely not ready made. Hughton was utterly atrocious.
But players were decent. The system wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
they also had to transition in terms of a Chris Hughton team into a Graham Potter team, and that is one end of the spectrum to literally the other. So was
it not an Ashworth team though?
Well, over time,
But
I'm not sure what year he joined Brighton.
It was the football they played, and it was just very, very pragmatic. And at times it worked, obviously, because it's Hughton. He will get results, but it was very dire. It was very dire. It was just rigid. It was not really moving, and it was not what you want in terms of a pragmatic approach. Yes, pragmatic can be good, but it was not. It was at the worst possible type of pragmatism. It was really, really bad. And yeah, I think Potter, he needed at least two seasons to change that, and he's done that very well.
They were sleepwalking over relegation, weren't they? Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Chris Hughton had a really short shelf life, didn't he, as a manager? Because he was kind of progressive in 2010, and by 5-6 years later, he turned into a dinosaur.
I mean, I don't know if he was progressive. Let's not hide from the fact that our tactic under Chris Hughton was Nolan and Barton swing balls into Andy Carroll. That it was like the definition of pragmatism was the way we played under Chris Hughton. And it worked. I mean, we battered Villa 6-0 when we came up. It was hilarious. But it was pretty much hoof the ball up to the big Geordie and watch him bang in left-footed goals and headers. It was, and then Nolan contributing. It was that. It wasn't impressive. It was very, very straightforward tactics. And it worked. And we demolished the Championship. And we did fairly well in the first season back. But it wasn't progressive. It wasn't inventive and creative. It was very pragmatic.
In terms of Potter himself, I got a question for all of you. In terms of Potter himself, and maybe this is something I'm not used to seeing a lot, but is anybody else bothered by the fact that this change was made when it was made? Because I can understand, okay, you sacked a manager and you have an interim coach till, I don't know, the end of the season, you hire your next coach. But to go into an already started season, get a coach that's under contract from another team, take him away and hire him, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't know if it's a usual practice. I don't know if you guys are bothered by it. I am, because I see it on both ends from the manager himself. You have no, I understand there's a big chance, but dude, you have a contract. Come on.
You've got to appreciate how much they've benefited from that financially. Brighton have gotten a lot of money. I think it was upwards of £20 million. And then when you factor in the sale of Bissouma and Cucurella over the transfer window, the dismantling of their coaching staff and their squad is very frustrating for Brighton fans, I'm sure. But they have been compensated handsomely for that. So as long as it's reinvested correctly, they'll be fine, but it depends on whether it is reinvested carefully. We'll see.
I'll just say I'll counter that then and say, what player could you buy for 20 million if he's as good a manager as we say he is? What player for 20 million could you buy that's going to replace such a good manager?
That's a fair point.
Well, I mean that's an unfair comparison. You don't buy players with manager payoffs.
You know what I mean, though. I'm not being a dick or anything.
No, I mean it will just go in. It will go into a general kitty, won't it? And it will go towards whatever their plan is moving forward. I don't think it's a like for like.
Do you think that Potter is a shit Eddie Howe?
No, absolutely not. He's not a shit Eddie Howe, is he? Ed Graham Potter.
No, they're a little bit different.
Yeah, do you think he's as good as Eddie Howe?
No,
I think they are both the most tactically interesting managers in the Premier League that are English. I think the whole Lampard-Gerrard thing is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Potter and Howe are both incredibly interesting to watch and look at how their team's set up. I think we are super interesting to watch. I think if you look at our games this season, we won't give up. We don't care. We don't care who you are. City, Liverpool, we don't care. We'll fight you until the 98th minute. We don't give any kind of. We don't care. We'll try until the final whistle goes. We are exciting to watch for us and for neutrals. So that's great for us.
I'm looking forward to playing Portsmouth anyway.
Yeah.
Or not Portsmouth.
I think Potter's slightly more exotic because he's been abroad and done it, hasn't he? And I think exotic.
Sweden. He managed in
He was still
Sweden.
abroad, isn't it? He was still abroad, isn't he? Yeah, he's still been abroad, hasn't he? It's exotic, isn't it? People see him as, spreading his wings to do something different to normal. It's different, isn't it? Who goes to Sweden to manage?
Yeah.
Just no one, do they?
Where did Hodgson go? Was it Sweden as well?
He was a man
everywhere. I think he went everywhere, didn't he? Where didn't he go more like?
He did the UAE as well.
He did.
Did he?
It was a plus point for being a manager. Chippers would definitely be a manager of the top team.
Oh. Hey, I won the lot of Football Manager.
Yeah.
I won the lot of Football Manager.
What number are you?
Hodgson went to every country he could go to without an R in it. So he didn't go to Rwanda, for instance, or
Romania.
Definitely didn't go there. No.
Russia?
No, it certainly wouldn't go there. Ashley says, Billy, you're forgetting where Eddie went. Well, he had his time. If this is true, he did go and learn from coaches abroad, didn't he?
Diego Simeone.
El Cholo.
So this Chelsea deal then with Potter, who's the most pissed off about it? Got to be Billy Gilmour. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. Poor kid.
Well, Cucurella's going to be interesting. Cucurella's reunion's going to be interesting. A couple of days after they sell him up, we Maja's back after Brighton were too happy to cash in on him.
Yeah, but he'll be happy about that. Yeah, but he went for the club, not for the manager.
Yeah.
So Cucurella will be really happy, whereas Billy Gilmour went to Brighton for the Potter project, and now he's gone there. There's no Potter project; it's all gone.
It's not even a
He'll just have Steve Bruce turn. He'll have Steve Bruce turn up at his door on Monday morning. Well, I'm going to play at centre half, Billy.
I tell you what, I was very surprised to learn that Adam Lallana has taken over as player coach. I thought that was very interesting. I was not expecting that at all.
No, neither was I.
How many games has he even managed? Has he even managed any games or?
No, he's undertaking his coaching badges right now. So the club decided they'll just put him in as an interim for now.
Risky. That's a risk.
We'll see.
It's very strange, that one. Very strange. But I suppose
he's a wizard. I must be honest, I'm a fan of Potter. I like the way he plays. Whether he can do it at Chelsea is another kettle of fish.
Billy, I am as well. I'm not in any way slating him. I think he's one of the best English managers. He's up there.
The Chelsea fans are not going to accept him playing great football and losing, are they? They'd rather be dour as hell and win 1-0, wouldn't they?
And what choice did he have but to take the job? That's the other thing I was talking to somebody about. You've got to take that job because how many big six, greedy six, top six, whatever you want to call them, jobs come available to people like Potter?
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't fault him for taking it, especially with the financial part of it.
Huge money, yeah.
Brighton relegation fodder if Lallana is their new manager. It's hard to say, isn't it? He could be a new genius. No one knows.
You never know.
Look what Gary O'Neill's done in the 2 games at Bournemouth. And now we're playing this weekend. He's got 4 points out of 6, and now didn't really play anybody, but he's still gone and beaten his 2 games.
So
that's what I'm going to see. They'll save the hammering for Saturday, and it'll be a 10-0 job on Saturday as well.
Has Chelsea met Liverpool yet this year?
It's been abandoned, isn't it, for this weekend? Wasn't it this weekend?
Yeah. Postponed.
That's going to be fun.
But Bournemouth had the biggest team we've had to play yet, haven't they? So we should.
Yeah, so far. I mean, well, apart from Forest, who were pretty woeful when we played them, but
we beat them anyway. At least we won that one.
Much better now.
Yeah, well, we've got Isak as well, haven't we? So,
although Eddie has a soft spot for Bournemouth, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course, it's Eddie's old team coming back to him. So we might as well talk about it now, mightn't we? The Bournemouth game. Hi, Ryan. How you doing, buddy? Been very quiet down there in the bottom right.
I'm all right. So I didn't mean to sneeze earlier. I thought I was still in the waiting room. I was on another.
Oh, it was a sneeze, wasn't it? It was a sneeze. Where was it?
Not a sneeze.
It wasn't a sneeze.
I swear to God, it was.
The weirdest sneeze.
I get clowned a lot for my sneeze, though. I can't do anything about it, though. But
if you sneeze like that, when they hear your fart.
No.
Yeah, when he farts, goes.
There's no way my mic would pick it up.
Hey, pick mine up when I did it that one time. Never heard the second end of it either.
Yours, Billy.
So, is there actually games going on this weekend? Because I've been kind of lost out. I've kind of been living life and other things.
7 fixtures this weekend. Manchester United Leeds has been called off because that is it is a necessity that they have a lot of police available for that game because of the nature of the fixture.
London,
and the rest are all generally London fixtures, so it's because of the Queen, obviously. So most of them are going ahead.
And look who we've got down there in the bottom right. Jimmy's in the house. Hi, Jimmy.
Yes, Jimmy.
Hey.
Big Jimmy.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
Welcome.
You're mate. There's only 20 minutes to go, but
I know.
time's good for you.
Well, I've been trying to straighten out. I guess I made the post yesterday about supporting a charity for the National Spinal Cord Awareness Month, and I got a call this morning wanting to know if I knew anything about a lot of donations coming in from the UK, because they usually don't get them from the UK. And the thing is, the UK is not even on their list of I guess, countries, because they usually don't take them from there. But they did take the credit cards, which was funny, but they would put down in the thing for James Moore. And I was like, oh, yeah. I'm on a few podcasts, and they were like, must be more in the few because in one day he raised $3,000.
Wow.
Post wasn't even up 24 hours. And we didn't know if this was like, if we'd been hacked or what. So they're working on putting the UK thing on that. So thank you. Thank you all for allowing me to put your forums up there to help get word out.
Jimmy, your stories are it's inspiration in lots of ways. If people need to read it, go on Jimmy's Twitter and read it. James's Twitter, because he's on his Jimmy. Read his story because it's really inspirational, but it's also it's really heartfelt, and if you can get somebody into that charity, it's well worth it. Because Jimmy's a massive Toon fan. He's in America, and we like to support all of our fans, and Jimmy's one of our best ones. So all kudos to you, Jimmy, for pushing through what you've gone through.
Cheers, Jimmy.
Hey, thank you. Gotten a lot of shit because I looked a lot younger on the video, the YouTube story.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but now you've mentioned it.
But I'm still beautiful. I mean, I'm not, Alex hot, but if I had a voice like Alex when I was like in my 30s, 20s or 30s, God forbid.
Oh no, there's only one voice, and it's that man down there who's got his camera off at the moment.
Ian.
Is that Ian? Oh no, where's Francisco?
I'm here.
Oh, he's over that side.
Almost right next to Jimmy right now.
I thought, Alex, where are you going with this?
I don't know if you all had seen this. As a thing on Bleacher Report football, this just tells you how stupid Todd Boehly is. He wants the Premier League to look in to possibly having an all-star game because it raised $200 million for the baseball all-star game. And it works in baseball because it's not a contact sport.
It's franchise too, that's why.
NFL's getting rid of theirs. NBA, NHL, any other sport with an all-star game has very poor viewerships. It only works in baseball because it's been around for over 100 years and it's a non-contact sport. And this, I don't understand why this guy, other than the fact that he owns Chelsea, but even has a platform with these owners. And I mean, he's a moron.
Oh,
We
you
agree
said
with
it,
you.
not us, but
100%. 100%.
Jimmy, I stopped caring about the All-Star game NHL like 10 years ago. It's dead. East versus
it's
West
dead.
Coast.
I mean, you can't. The ones in the 80s and 90s where they would actually go and knock the shit out of each other. Yeah, but you know, the salaries are too much, way too much, you know, to, you know, have your players afford getting injured. I'm just waiting for the NBA All-Star game to have one of their huge stars blow an ACL.
Yeah, like LeBron James or Steph Curry.
Yeah.
The revenue's downhill.
It would disappear as soon as somebody of that magnitude gets injured. All Stars is gone. They'll scrap it.
Even for NHL right now, like you'd have to have someone like Connor McDavid to make the revenue go up, and like a few others. I don't know. I'm out of touch with hockey. Like there's a reason why I've played football since I was a kid, and I've loved the sport since. I can't stand franchise sports because football is unique with relegation. There's no cutoff. There's no closed leagues. You know, you finish 30th. There's no consequences. Like boring as hell.
I mean, All Stars would. It sounds amazing in a fantasy setting. It would be incredible. Like a Premier League versus La Liga All Stars would be amazing. But the way that the leagues are structured, the clubs, the finances, it's not viable because they're risking assets. If players get injured, it destroys their season. If key players get injured, and realistically, any player that's of the quality necessary to get into an all-star team is a key player for their club. So it's just not worth it. It sounds amazing, but it's just fantasy.
The injuries would be happening in an all-star game, like in the North Americans. Like if Connor McDavid gets injured for Edmonton, like it will affect Edmonton, but like it won't, because if they finish 30th, there's no consequence. It won't derail their season financially, because all NHL, all NFL, all NBA teams, they all get similar finances, and it's the same structure they all follow along.
That's the one thing from franchise sports that I do support is the whole salary cap thing. And I think we talked about this once before, where the one thing that I think offsets a lot of fans is that non-traditional football fans is that you see teams, the big teams, hoarding players, and because they have the cash, and it takes away from the competitiveness up to a certain point. So there is something about the salary cap system that does it's appealing. If I were to describe it in some way,
you could just get rid of FFP and it would then get rid of that. FFP is the thing that's for me anyway. That's stopping the competition now. It's been put in there to protect the greedy six, big six.
But has it worked though?
Well, it's working, stopping us spending money to compete with the likes of Man City, Chelsea, Man United to a degree.
Okay, if we're talking about
wages are directly linked to like where you finish in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like they've done a lot of it. It's very easy data to go and check. But with the exception of Man United, because they are just disgustingly run as a club. Generally, if you look at first place to 20th place, the majority of clubs will fall in line with their corresponding ranking in terms of how much they spend on wages. It's normally first is first, second is it's normally 1 to 20. Most teams are generally where they are in terms of wage spend. That is where they finish in the league as well, roughly there or thereabouts. So it does make a huge difference on how much you spend on wages, because the top teams who pay the biggest wages typically finish in the higher places. It's just how it works.
Well,
anyway,
also,
let's go. Let's cut this now and go to the Bournemouth game, because we've got 15 minutes left, and we'll discuss the Bournemouth game of the weekend. I mean, that's a fantastic debate we've had there about franchise football and and American owners and things like that, and trying to bring American things to the English game, probably not going to work. But we've got a game Saturday, Bournemouth. We need to get on. I mean, everyone says we've only lost one. We haven't won since the first game of the season. So, Roy, this is a crucial game for us, isn't it? We need to win this game, don't we?
It's a must-win. We've lost a lot of points. It's a must-win now, and Bournemouth is probably is the weakest team. So this, on paper, this is probably the easiest game we've got all season. On paper, so it's a must-win. There's no other way around it. Must-win.
Barbara, are you looking forward to seeing Bruno back and Maxi and maybe Callum Wilson?
Yeah, I'm expecting a big win. Like 1-0 won't be any good in this one. We want to make a statement here and bang in 3 or 4 goals against them. Get them all breathed.
Pete, you'll be there. You're looking forward to a few goals.
Yeah, hopefully I believe we can get back to winning ways on Saturday now. With the majority of our players back fit, I think we have struggled a little bit without ASM and Bruno in certain parts. But we've really been truly screwed by VAR as well this season. I mean, We've had so many points taken away from us. I mean, the Palace game, we should have won that. Definitely. I mean,
it's
majority to be down. Yeah, I'm expecting the whole pretty much a comfortable win. And we'll be at home. The crowd will get behind the players. And I think we can win this game comfortably.
We'll go on.
Won't stop this time.
No, I'll agree with you. I think we're going to make it. So VAR doesn't matter this time. But we'll go on the people and all of you. And we'll get a score prediction and scorers. We'll start with Francisco. Francisco, give us a score for Saturday and give us the scorers.
Sure. I'll go for 3-0 for us with Isak scoring a brace and one for Miggy. But I do say I do hope this has the smell of a trap game. So we have to be careful.
Well, thanks for coming on, Francisco. Make sure you get yourself on again next week, buddy.
You take care, guys. Good cheers.
Ta-ra, buddy. Take care, mate. Pete, give us your score then, mate. And
3-0 as well to Newcastle. I'm going to go with Isak, Miggy, and if he's fit, which hopefully is ASM.
Nice one. That sounds good to me. Pete, get yourself on next week, buddy. Thanks for coming on, mate.
No
As always, we'll see you soon. See you later, buddy. Ian.
Yes, mate.
Down to you, my friend. What do you think?
I've said 3-1 all week, and I think 3-1. I think Isak's getting 2. And I'm praying that Bruno plays. He should play. Sounds like he's going to play. And I think Bruno might snaffle one as well. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, 3-1. But Bruno's integral to everything we do, I think.
Brilliant. We'll all buy a bit of that, I think. Ian, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Nice one. Cheers, Billy.
Cheers, matey. Bye-bye. So that was Ian. Jimmy, what are you thinking about Saturday? Are you optimistic?
Yes. 4-1. Miggy with 2. Isak with 1. Willock with 1.
Wow. Everyone's saying Isak. I could get some fantasy points this week. All those other things. Great. Jimmy, get yourself on next week, buddy. Fantastic having you on again, as always. We'll see you soon, buddy. Make sure you get yourself on next week.
All right. Thank you.
See you,
See you, my friend. Chippers. Scores.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win. I'm going to say Isak and Bruno. I think the game will pan out exactly the same as how we play Nottingham Forest. I just think we'll control it from start to finish, and it'll just be a case of 2-0, but it could be a case of more than 2 by the chances we create. And I think, again, if Bruno starts, we win the game because, like as Ian's just said, he controls the way we play and how we dictate our play. So he starts, we win. Simple as that.
Well, thanks for coming on, Chippers. Join us again whenever you can, mate, next week. Always great having you on. See you later, buddy.
Catch you there, lads. Catch you there, Bob.
Yeah.
Barbara, what are you thinking about Saturday? You're very optimistic, aren't you?
About 3-1, I think. And I think Isaac will get 2 and maybe Willock. Is there any fear of Wilson playing?
Possibility.
He's the least likely to be back. I think Bruno and Maxi are closer. Wilson is a little bit more of a doubt, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, if Bruno's playing, he'll get one. So
Liverpool got 2-1 up in injury time. Wow.
No.
Who have?
Liverpool.
Is it 7 minutes again?
Just 4 minutes this time, but they've kind of 90th minute they've took the lead. Well, thanks for that, Barbara. Make sure you get yourself back on next weekend. Thank you very much, Barbara. Bye-bye. Ryan, down to you, my friend. Are you optimistic as everyone else is? There's wins everywhere this week.
I think this will be a 3-0 rinse.
Rinse. I like the word rinse. Who's going to score, mate?
I'm going to go with ASM, Joe Linton, and Isak.
And the thing is, Ryan, you're generally the best kind of predictor. I've had a look at the previous weeks, and you're generally the closest and the most kind of consistent of correct scores. So you're the man to go with. You're saying 3-1, 3-0. Which was
3-0. The whole prediction league that Paul is going to come up with is a load of crap. He's never happened.
I'm sure he's looking at it in the background. I've kept my eye on it.
That's a message to you, Paul.
We're still following the host and co-host scores. We've still got that.
Yeah, we'll just have to go back memorabilia and look at previous shows. Just look at the scores.
I've only got to watch the last 10 minutes of all every week, so you know it's
I think I've got the results. The results a lot correct, but like the scores, they're a bit off. But like it's 1 point there, I guess.
I mean, ultimately, it's because you predict the most negative scores, so that when we do lose,
hey man, I try to be as like unfiltered, unbiased as possible.
Oh, brotherly love, eh? Brotherly love. I love it. Well, Ryan, get yourself back on next week, mate, and we can have another predict, and we'll keep our eye on what you said, because usually you're pretty good with it. So thanks for coming, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you, mate.
See you later, buddy. The King of Qatar.
Nah. Well, I'm not the king of predictions. So and I've probably got the worst ones.
I tell you what, has anybody mentioned your photos of the stadiums, by the way, yet? Has that been mentioned on stream?
No, it hasn't.
No, that was awesome. So if anybody's not seen it on Twitter, Roy went and looked at. He went and viewed all of the World Cup stadiums in Qatar, and went and took pictures of himself with an NUFC flag and everything. That was brilliant. So if you've not seen that, go and have a look on Twitter, because it's really cool.
It took 3 hours and 50 minutes.
To go on the whole lot?
Yeah, the whole thing. And I picked a working day. There's a bit of traffic as well. And we had a cigarette almost between each stadium. And I lost my new lighter that I just got made. So I'm going to have to get another one. But it was, I think we might do it again in November on a weekend, early morning. And try to do it in under 3 hours if possible.
How many games are you going to, Roy? You got tickets for a few games, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got 8 tickets in total. I've got Iran's 3 games in the first round. I've got Uruguay and Portugal. And
so
Canada.
Iran would include a game against us, right?
Against England, yeah. So that's going to be... so all the Doha Mags on the other end. And there's me against them. Come on, the Persians. Iran's got Carlos Queiroz again. So he's back.
God, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, Man United,
Yeah, so,
Real Madrid.
Yeah, so he coached Iran in 2014 and 18, and then he went to Colombia, and then coached Egypt in African Cup, got into the final, lost on penalties to Senegal, and then lost the World Cup qualifier against Senegal again on penalties twice. So he's back home, I think, now.
Fergie's pal, wasn't he? He used to be Fergie's number 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a good tactician. He's well, he loves to pug the boss. Let's just say. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be hard to break the Persians down now. I'm more happy with him.
Anyway, Saturday, Roy. We've digressed. We've done a bit of a Ronnie Corbett.
No, okay. So with my shit predictions, I'm going to go 5-0 because everyone else went for 3-0 and 3-1s and 4-0 and 2-0. So I'm going 5. Come on, let's do it. Isak with 2. Willock with 1. ASM with 1. And Trippier with 1.
Fantastic.
So,
before we go, Tom makes an interesting point here. Ecuador could be getting kicked out of the World Cup for fielding an eligible player. Did anyone see that?
Yes, they've got a player who was born in Colombia or something, and he forged his passport, and he shouldn't have played for them. So we'll find out on Thursday. So I'm
Ooh,
not
I
sure
didn't
if
know
they get
that.
eliminated. Yeah, if they get
Exciting.
eliminated, I think it's Peru who goes in. So they'll go into Group A with Qatar and Senegal and Holland.
I wonder if Nobby's
I
still
don't know
got
what
something to do with the Peru. So I'm sure he was coach of it, at one time.
Yeah, he's part of the
Oh, yeah.
coaching team. He's part of the coaching team. His niece actually lives in Qatar, and she's
Oh,
married
right.
to a Geordie. Yeah, she lived in Newcastle, and she was married to a Geordie. So he got a job here, and she moved here.
See, this is
Hi,
the channel
Rose.
for the Roy Caviani facts. You don't want to be going on Sinclair's channel and shouting them out. This is the place for it. We'll take
This is
5
the master one.
Liverpool have won 2-1 to that. And
Lucky bastard.
Roy, thanks for coming on as always, mate. Brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
Been good chat. We'll see you next
See-
week. Paul will be here next
see you
week.
guys.
It'll be organised better, and we'll have a good chat next week. Cheers, Roy. Thanks for coming on, mate.
See you guys. See you on Twitter.
Ta-ra, mate. So, Alex, that's a fans forum done. That's the first one without Paul, I think. I've never done one before on my own. So
No, it was interesting. We got some slightly different people than I'm used to seeing, and it was a few different conversations. The American angle was quite fun.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that.
A lot of people going quite conservative with their Bournemouth predictions, because I've been tweeting quite furiously recently that I think we're due a spanking, like in terms of spanking a different team. We've been putting up some good XG numbers. I think eventually it's got to click. So all will be revealed in the preview show, of course. But 3 goals for us from the majority of people seems quite conservative for arguably playing the worst team in the league based on squad and performance. Like I'd be disappointed if we only scored 3. We were meant to score 3 against Palace XG, so I'd be hoping for slightly better.
Oh, well, we'll discuss this on Thursday night with our preview show. I always get preview and review mixed up. Our preview show Thursday night. That's when we'll be next be on, and we'll be discussing the Bournemouth game. The whole 4 of us together again for that. That'll be Thursday night. Of course, if you like what you've seen and you're not already done so, please consider subscribing, and also maybe becoming a member and hit the like button if you have been watching and you've enjoyed what you've seen. We'll be with you back Thursday night for the preview show. TTR Friday on Friday, the watch along with me Saturday, and the review show Sunday. That's our current itinerary for the week. But until then, me and Alex will bid you all a good night. I say that, and I ain't got the tune put up. Away the lads and lasses. See you later, guys.